so it's the first day I got this bike. 3 hours into the ride, we get a flat tire. And we're on the trail, so we need to get the bike home. And I'm going to show you in this video what we did to get the bike home. And then also, when I got Tannus liners to be installed into this to prevent that from happening again. So let's get started. Alright, so before we get started on this video, I just want to give a quick disclaimer that I am not a bike mechanic. And what you see in the video, there might be some problems with the way I did things. And if you are a professional mechanic, please comment below if you see any problems with what I'm doing, so to help the community out to make sure that they don't make the same mistakes I did on it. In the end, the install went well. I love the Tannus liners that are in there right now, and they just make the ride so much more smooth, but also the peace of mind that I'm getting from those Tannus liners are fantastic. So Tannus is not a sponsor of this video. I reached out to them to ask them if I could get a discount code to give you guys, because I told them I love their product and I wanted to go ahead and let people know what I got, my experience of using it. So they actually sent me a 20% off discount code for you guys. Again, this is not a promotion paid by them, or this is something that I just wanted to ask them. Hey, I'm going to be promoting your stuff because I just love the Tannus liners, and they gave me this code. It's a little long, so it's Chris MX Tannus. And so I don't know if it's case sensitive or not, but this is how they gave it to me, and it'll give you guys 20% off anyone who uses it off of their website. Now, this is not a Amazon discount code. You have to go to the Tannus liner website to go ahead and get it. So I'll have actually a link to their website. Again, this is not an affiliate promotion. It is just because I love their product, and I bought a whole bunch of Tannus liners to put in all my bikes that I thought, well, I might as well see if I can get you guys some discounts on it. Again, so that's 20% off. Use this on their website, and you'll be able to go ahead and get an extra 20% off as well. It'll be in the description below in case you need to go ahead and click on that. And again, a link to the website will also be there as well. All right, and also don't forget, if you guys like this video or you want more content like this, more tutorials, by all means, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys so much for all your support. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the video.
I don't know, but it's a big one. It's that was no burr. That's a cut or something.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, I didn't. Whatever it is, I didn't see it coming.
No.
It sounded like something cut it.
Oh, did it?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a. I don't even see where it's leaking.
It kind of bums that we actually have this happen, but I wanted to go ahead and make this a good lesson about any fat tire bike, 26 by 4 inch, especially if you try on the rear wheel having a flat tire like this, moving it without actually some type of securing of the tire to the rim, it will fall off and you won't be able to, it's just almost impossible to keep moving. So I always carry extra straps, and usually I carry a lot more, but I didn't think I was going to have a problem today. So fortunately, I had some extra straps that were strapping bottles and everything else. So that kit that I actually have linked to the 50 set of velcro straps, I usually carry most of it in my bag, specifically because if I had 5 or 6 of them, I could still walk it home pretty easily. Now, if you have a flat on the front, you can always walk it lifting up the front wheel, and that's not too much of an issue. But once you get a rear wheel flat, if you don't have anything to actually have the tire be secured to the rim, yeah, you have this issue. The way it is now with 3 straps, at least I can walk, and the funky sound you hear is just basically the tire it's not hitting the rim, which is what I don't want. I don't want to hit the rim, so that's perfect. And this will get me home. I mean, we're about a half mile, and thank goodness for that I have a riding buddy that can help me out with this. But anyway, this is a good opportunity for me to give a lesson learned about this. Okay, so in this part of the video, I'm going to be doing some voiceover as we go through a lot of the installation parts. So I bought one of those kits that actually came with the liner itself and the tube. And so the tubes are a little smaller because the liner takes up a lot of space. So there's instructions actually on the liner like you just saw there, but there's also instructions on the wrapping that came in, and they're a little different between the two, but I decided to follow what it said on the liner itself, where you basically put the tube inside of the liner, and then stick the liner inside of the tire itself. Now the tire that I have on here is a brand new tire because of the slice that was happening in the original tire that came out. So this is a brand new tire sticking on, and it may have been a little easier using a brand new tire. I'm not real sure, but you will see that in the first, or on the front wheel tire, that it was actually a little different, where it was a little harder for me to do it. So right now I'm just actually basically tucking in the liner into the tire itself, and then sticking the tire, or pushing the tire onto the rim. And at that point now I'm actually finding where the valve stem goes into the hole where the rim is at, and I put on the cap as well to hold the tube in place. And then from here all I did was basically squeeze the rest of the tire onto the rim. And it wasn't too hard. I mean, it just actually kind of popped all in there. I think I used a tire lever just maybe once throughout this process just to get the final push on there. And with this, then I use my compressor to go ahead and add just a little more air. I don't put in a whole lot of air while doing this because I want to make sure that there's no pinches in the tube. It's just a little at a time, and then I push it around, make sure everything's still in there, that this tire is seated properly in the rim. And then I go ahead, and once I know that I feel better about it, I'll add a little more air into it. And again, I don't fill it up all the way. I just kind of fill it up so that it's a little more firm to make sure, again, the tire is fitting properly, because there is a good probability that it will actually be a little uneven in the beginning. So sometimes I have to reflatten it and then put it back in. Okay, at this point, then I use my actual portable pressure pump just to get a fine amount, a perfect amount, a real slow install. And then at this point, I flipped over the bike, which I probably should have done in the first place when removing the rim. It's a lot easier to work upside down. I do have actually handlebar jacks put onto the handlebars, and of course I took off the mirror so there's no pressure on the display screen. And right here I'm basically just putting back the rim onto the back of the bike there, and I'm spinning it so that I can watch to see if it's even and if there's anything that's maybe out of balance, and to also make sure my brakes were not hitting. And then using a wrench, tightened it all up. Spin it again to make sure it's again evenly rotating through. And it worked out pretty quick. Now this has been a 2-day process that I actually did this on. So just know that it wasn't all that quick. So now the front wheel I took off, and this one had a small little pinhole that I didn't realize until the next day while waiting to get the Tannus liners in. There was 2 flat tires on this bike on the same day that we got it. I had only the bike for 3 hours riding time when that flat had happened. So there we got another liner out, and again I bought the set that had the tube in it, so I didn't have to worry about it. Finding the 26-inch tubes is not an easy thing in my local area. Even though I have like 6 bike shops, nobody carried the tubes. I guess they're harder to find. So again, you see me doing the same thing. Put a little air into the tube first, then I stuck it into the Tannus liner. Then I'll stick the liner into the tire itself, and you'll see me working it in. Now I did cut out a lot of portions of me doing the stuff in because it took a lot longer doing this front tire. I'm not sure exactly why it was so much harder, but as you'll see, it finally did go in using the same process, kind of just tucking it in along the way. I might have maybe put too much air in the tube. That could have been one of the issues too. I'm not real sure. Once the liner is in, then all you do is you basically will be tucking in the tire next into the bead. And being a fat tires are a lot softer, so they're a lot easier to do it. This is the time I use a tire lever once to hold it in. And I keep bouncing around to actually get the places that are actually uneven. Now again, put a little more air into it. I stick it in there, and as I made the rotation, I noticed that it was actually not completely circular. It was kind of ovalish because it didn't sit in well. So here I took out the valve stem completely just so that it was going to be totally flat. You can see this in regular speed. What I'm doing is kind of working the tire back in to trying to get it evened out. And again, I'm doing actually a finger tuck in the areas that are higher than the other areas. Now most of these tires actually have a line that goes around it right where the rim will hit, so you can actually see it visibly if it's a little off. And this time I'm taking off the tire again, making sure that the liner is actually put in properly, checking it through. Again, there's no air in the tire at all because I took out the valve stem. And then I'm going ahead and put it back in now. Putting back in the valve stem. And then putting some air back into the tire. And again, working it too to make sure that it's even all the way around. This was just one of those processes that took a long time. You know, it took a little work to make sure that it all fit perfectly in there. And doing this massaging actually made it work. Stuck it in again, did a spin. I like the way that it looked at this point. The tire is not completely inflated at this point, so that I could also still work a little bit with my hands for like, there was like only a millimeter or 2 millimeters here and there, a little off, but I wanted it perfect. And then I used, again, my small portable hand pump just so that it finished off the top with a little more precision on the air pressure. And at this point, all I have to do is connect the motor cable to the battery where it goes to the controller, and then added a zip tie in the end. This is the only part. Apologize for the view, but this is forgot about where the camera was at. But this zip tie was the last point here. And after that, we were able to get riding, and the Tannus liner was installed, and it felt fantastic. So I just realized that actually some of you probably have never heard of Tannus liners before, and I just wanted to go ahead and just let you know what a Tannus liner is. Basically, it's kind of, in my opinion, like taking one of those pool noodles and making a kind of an insert into where your tube goes into the liner itself, and the liner goes between the tire and the tube. That creates a barrier that's maybe, I don't know, maybe about 1 inch or so thick. Now, this doesn't absolutely prevent 100% of flat tires from happening, because I have heard of thorns that are actually, or nails that are longer than the Tannus liner, and it will go through and puncture it. Now, the good thing is, if you do have a Tannus liner within a tire, a lot of times you can still roll the bike because there's enough space or cushioning in there without having to strap it down. Straps would probably still help a lot more. Now, Tannus does claim that they do not guarantee you can still ride the bike when it comes to fat tires. There's a disclaimer on their website that talks about that, but for the most part, they actually have these that are really good, and it does take quite a thick or long puncture tool to get into to hit the tube itself. Now, the other thing is that you can actually add like those type of liquids that go into the tire to actually plug the holes, and that'll add some extra added security or some, you know, peace of mind as well. I prefer not to add stuff into that. It does cause some problems in some cases for the valves to get actually gunked up and plugged up. So for me, it's just cleaner to go ahead and use it this way. And once they're in, they actually work really well. I will be doing videos on installing them on the Lectric 1.0, the 4-inch fat tires, and the 2.0, because I do have extra liners that I bought a bunch of them just to go ahead and have them installed. And I didn't buy them from the website. It was before I actually got this code. I had these placed on order. I got it actually from a retailer. That gave me a discount, you know, for picking up multiple units. So that's what you're seeing there. Now, again, these are a little costly, but they do last a long time. And if you do buy the inserts, you can actually buy them either with a tube or without. And the thing is, buying them with the tube, at least you get a tube that's the right size. You don't have to worry about it, because they do have to be smaller since the liner takes up so much extra space. Anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and put that out there. Again, you can go to tannusamerica.com and you can use the code that you see here to get 20% off. And again, you do need to actually make your purchase through their website in order to get the discount of the 20% off. But it's well worth it in my opinion, and that's why I'll be adding it to all my bikes that I'll be riding it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching again. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys so much, and have a great day. And by the way, don't forget, we also have, if you go to ebikeproducts.com/shop, we have suspension seat posts there and other accessories that will be launching this month, and I will see you later. Thanks so much. See you in the next video.